Welcome back to processing. We are currently working through some materials produced by Professor Nyhoff. We're on to page 4 now, and if you're following along, you just finished a sketch that had we did some stuff with rectangles and circles and triangles, and we talked about no fill and having different fill colors, and I'm actually going to stop right there, and if you've got that one still open, go ahead and save it and close it, because we're going to start from scratch again, and we're going to start on page 4 here if you have the handouts. If you don't have the handouts, they'll be on the screen here in a second, so you should be able to follow along here. And again, I'd recommend looking at some of the tutorials and such that are on processing.org. So as promised, we're going to start with page 4 here, and before I even get started with a new sketch and a new program that I'm going to run, I want to talk a little bit about procedures. Mr. Nyhoff here does a nice job of describing, I think, what procedures are, and perhaps you have a daily routine that could be named getting ready for school. So think about every time you get ready for school, you've got this certain routine. You get up, you go to the bathroom, you hop in the shower, you brush your teeth, whatever that that sequence of events that you do over and over again every morning, that could be a procedure that you call getting ready for school. And so similarly in programming, you have a procedure, some routine, a sequence of actions that we bundle up together and give a name. And so then each morning, if you were a computer program, your first procedure, you would just go call the procedure getting ready for school, and you would go through those set of events. So in processing, procedures are identified with the word void, and this is unfortunately one of the remnants left over from Java, the Java programming language that processing is built on. So void, I don't have any good way of describing what void is, why it is called that. Just get used to it. It's part of the syntax. And processing has several of these procedures then that are predefined. They have predefined names to fill certain actions that will be performed. The first of these is really the setup procedure. This is one of the most important procedures, and it's one we're going to do every time, and it's the procedure then that will be performed first. So when you do this void setup, they're going to go, the processing is going to run through those set of steps. It's going to do it once, and then it's never going to do it again. So things that you're going to do once and you don't have to keep redoing over and over again are the things that you should put in that setup procedure. And I think it'll make a little bit more sense once you start seeing it. So go ahead at this point and open up a new sketch. Open a new processing sketch, and there we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with this void setup. Notice it does a nice job. It makes it bold for us. And anytime we're doing a procedure, we put them in between these curly braces. So void setup, that empty parentheses, and then curly braces, and everything that we put in those curly braces is going to be done one time now, and it's going to be done first. So things like size make sense to put in there. We only really need to define our canvas size once. So maybe we want, actually, I'll do it the other way around, 400, 600. It's a canvas size we're going to use. So now when we hit play, processing is going to, first thing it's going to do is my setup procedure, and the only thing in there right now is setting the size. Another thing I might want to put in there is a background color. So I just want a white background, and I'm going to show you a little shortcut here. Anytime you want a background that is just white, you can just put background and in the parentheses 255. I don't like the space there, so that's why I just deleted that. But and anytime you use just one number with where it asks for a red, green, and blue, if I used 150, it would just give me a shade of gray. So it's assuming that you want 150, 150, 150, which would give you a shade of gray. But I want 255, 255, 255, so I can do the shortcut and type background 255, and bam, I get a white background. Other things that you might want to put in the that setup is probably that smoothing command. You know, I just want to turn it on, I want to leave it on, I want it always to be on, so turn smoothing on. Notice how my code is not lined up all that nice right now. If you just hit Control plus T, so Control T, you get it'll automatically tab everything over nice and put it all in the appropriate tabbed in. The next procedure that's a built-in one is in processing is called draw, and draw is a pretty cool procedure. Just like the setup procedure, it's going to run through these commands that we get it. So we're going to fill in with a whole bunch of commands. Maybe we want to draw rectangles, triangles, etc. And the way processing works is it will first do that setup, it will do it one time, and then it will come down and it will look for this draw procedure. And with the draw procedure, it'll do it over and over and over and over again, which is kind of a cool thing. It helps us with when we want to start doing some animations and throwing in random code, which we're going to do next time. So anyway, in our draw procedure, that's typically where we put commands that actually draw things that will actually display in the window. So we might do, as it is on the handout, fill 255, 00. So if you remember that code, it's going to fill in with the most possible red light, no green light, no blue light. And we'll draw an ellipse. I'm just going to follow exactly what you have in that handout that's on the other side, half of the screen there. And so we're going to draw, so we do our setup procedure, and then we're going to draw our little circle, and we're just going to keep drawing it and drawing it and drawing it and drawing it, and you can't really tell a difference, but it's actually redrawing that circle over and over again. So now you've seen we've set up these two procedures. We're going to do every time, we're going to do a setup, and then we're going to do a draw, and we're going to draw over and over and over again. So these are two important procedures to know. Just get in the habit of putting them at the beginning. If you want, you know, you could even leave some of these commands. Maybe you want to have a typical 400, 600 background of white and turning smoothing on, and you just want to save this then as a template that you could open up over and over again. So I'm going to call this template. And so now I don't have to go through the process every time of typing in size and background and smooth and the void draw. I can just open up that template, write my new program, and then save it as something else. So save this as a template, go ahead and close it, and tomorrow I promise you we're going to be a little bit blown away by some of the things that we're able to do. It starts to get really cool as we start to see some of these essentially some of this animation coming into effect.